Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends, my name is Vincenzo. Sì, mi chiamo Vincenzo, and my channel is Fountain Pen Therapy. And today we're celebrating Italian pens. The Italian pens of 2024 and the Italian Penmaker of 2024. Very special award ceremony for me. I've had a beautiful 2024 as far as Italian pens are concerned. I've got some gems to show you and share with you. Please stay tuned and per favore, enjoy it. Okay, so we're back with the pens. Got my cappuccino, which is apropos with all these beautiful Italian pens. Check out this eye candy, folks. Okay, let's go through this. These are all the pens, the Italian pens that I acquired in 2024. There are, in addition to that, 4 other pens. That I have yet to review, so they are not on this list, but they will be on my list for 2025. Okay, so I don't want to spoilers alert there. I don't want to spoil them because they're there and they haven't been reviewed. So let's look at the top here. First of all, Gioia pens, which is one of my favorite Italian pen companies. They're very much underrated. You've got the a Gioia Alaria here, another version of the Alaria. You've got the Gioia Metti here. You've got the Bella Vista Crepuscolo. This is the Capodimonte Van Gogh. Then we got 2 Leonardos. I've kind of stayed away from Leonardo. It's Yowo, and they weren't that impressive unless you spend $400, $500 for a Yowo gold nib. I'm not interested. I have this one was given to me by was it Gold Spot, I believe. This is a Magico Momento Rose, and then I have the Magico Momento Pithecusa. I have a Tibaldi here, and then here I have my Delta pens. I have my Dolce Vita original pen here, oversized. I have my Delta Napoli C that Mario Marino gave to me as a gift when I visited him at his factory. And this is like one of one. This is the only one that exists in the world. I have the Delta Intesa here. And I have another Duna. This one was given to me by I believe it was Atlas for review. Then I finally acquired during my trip, you'll remember, for those of you who saw my series, I acquired the Homo Sapiens from Visconti. I acquired the Scribble La Dotta. I acquired the Mayora TI or Titanium Nib 22. I acquired a vintage Omas Extra, an Omas Ogaiva, an Omas Bologna Calligraphia. Then I have an Aurora Optima, an Aurora, this is a, what do they call this? Ipsilum, or I forget their name. I'll put it up on the screens. I apologize. But it's a lower end pen. And then I acquired this one, which is a hooded nib. It's the Optima 88P. This is the Peniter La Grande Bellezza. So those are the pens Italian pens that I acquired. Beautiful, beautiful writing instruments. Now from all of this, I've got to pick 12. Stay tuned, folks. Okay, so now we're going to take pen to paper, as they say, and I will introduce my 12 nominees. Now, I got to tell you, being Italian, this is going to be more of an emotional roller coaster than it's going to be a scientific rendering of, my nominees with an Excel sheet with points given for various characteristics of a pen, etc. No, I'm going to go with my Italian gut, as they say, and I'm going to try to evoke to you why I believe these pens are my 12 nominees, and ultimately why my top 3 are my top 3. And keep in mind, these are my top 3. They're not the greatest and the best Italian pens ever made, but they're certainly the best Italian pens in my collection based on my writing experience. Okay, first thing, when I did the Chinese Pen of the Year, some of you asked what paper was I using. Well, let me show you what paper I use. It's this is the notebook. It's a Tomoe River notebook, 480 pages, and it's just fabulous. It's A5 size. It's referred to as the writer. There are various versions of the same notebook. Some are blank sheets, some are a grid dot, and the writer is the lined version. You can buy this on Nanami paper. I believe they have the original Tomoe River paper. I've snapped up, I think I've got about 6 of these now. So I think it's going to last me a lifetime. Just because I prefer the original than the Sanson. So that's the notebook. That's the way it comes in. No frills, just a bunch of really nice Tomoe River original paper. So that's the paper. The inks, I can't tell you. The pens have been inked for some time now, and they are what they are. So you'll forgive me for that. But ultimately, I know that inks can make a big difference, but in these pens, I don't think they do. They're all beautiful pens, and no matter what ink you put in them. So there you have it. Now, first thing is I'm going to break my rule and show you my number 13 that I omitted to put on the list originally that we just reviewed. It's, I hesitated because it is a vintage pen, but this is the Omas Extra. And for the life of me, I have difficulty figuring out, there's so many versions of this pen. Some are bigger, smaller. This is what it is. But that nib in this little pen, and it's a vintage and it doesn't have a lever, so you don't have to worry about replacing sacks and drying up. It works really fabulously. So with your permission, I'm going to break my rule, and we're going to start with, actually, why don't we close up? There we go. Okay. So let's get this Omas Extra going here. So this is the 2024 Italian Pen Awards. And number 13, which, by the way, the number 13, unlike North America, is actually good luck. It's good luck in Italian. It's number 17. That's the bad number. So this is the Omas Extra Vintage. And it's got an 18 karat fine Omas nib. Just very, very nice pen. Little on the small side, as a lot of pens were many, many years ago, compared to today. But still a little gem in my collection, and I thought I'd give it an honorable mention. So That's done. What is my number 12? Now we get to the real list. Number 12 is this pen. As I mentioned in my review of my visit in Rome, I visited this shop, a kind of a vintage pen shop, and I found this little gem. This is the Aurora, so number 12. Did you see that spring there? This is the Aurora 88P. It's got a 14 karat hooded nib. But it's got a little flex. That gives you just that nice touch of line variation. Beautiful, beautiful pen. I don't like hooded nibs normally. Anything that looks that small just doesn't suit my fancy for some reason, or my writing style. And I know there's some wonderful Parker hooded nibs, etc., etc. But, and you know what? I promise that I'm going to get into some of the Parker nibs maybe in 2025. You know, that's another area for me to discover. But in the meantime, this Aurora gem is just a fabulous, fabulous pen. Number 12. Now, at number 11, is this Joya. This is a Joya Bella Vista. Beautiful resin. Very hefty pen. Number 11. So this is the Joya Bella Vista. Now this nib is only a number 6 steel nib, but it feels like a gold nib. Yes, it is a Yowo, but it's Joya tuned to perfection. And in this case, even more, because it's got an italic fine, which gives you just the right line variation. So it kind of feels like a fine stub, if you will. Writes fabulously. I can't say enough about the Joya. Very underrated. Very nicely priced when you set it against a Leonardo, which is, in my opinion, a lot of their pens are overpriced, especially for those boring Yowo nibs, gold or otherwise. Yes, they've made some nice, give them some nice looks to those nibs, and they've got some wonderful materials, etc. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Leonardo is not one of the major Italian players, but they've rubbed me wrong lately, and so that's really personal. But there you have it. So that's Joya. And in number 11, and maybe Leonardo will, I'll change my views in 2025. There's always something new that we can add to this hobby, and I'd love nothing more. So number 10 is the Joya Capodimonte. Again, a Neapolitan twist to it. This is a number 6 steel Joya tuned Yowo nib. It is a medium, and it just writes just fabulously. I was waiting to snap this pen up for a while. It was always overpriced, and then I found it on sale on the site of Italian Pens. It wasn't my first choice. I wanted rose gold trimmings, but I settled for this ruthenium, which is really nice. But take a look at that resin. Good heft, nice big pen, the way I like them. So number 10 is my Joya. Number 9 on my list. This I bought at the Casa Stilografica in Florence. It's an Ogaiva. So number 9. It's an Omas Ogaiva demonstrator with a 14 karat fine Omas nib. It's the new Omas, not the old, but when it comes to gold nibs, just beautiful. Very, very nice. I like this pen. Daily writer, go-to pen. I like this demo look. It gives you, the look to inside, and the piston is a metal piston. It's not plastic. Very nice pen. Very nice addition to my collection. So that's number 9. Number 8. Now, number 8 should have made my top 5. It's this Optima Aurora Sole Mio. And I explain why it didn't. But first of all, let's get the writing sample down. Number 8, Aurora Optima Sole Mio, which evokes the Neapolitan coast. It's a 14 karat, so this is not an 18 karat Aurora. Fine nib. And it now writes fabulously. And I say now because I bought this pen at the Aurora shop in Florence. Met this wonderful manager of the store, really nice individual. She laid out all kinds of pen candy for me, trying to convince me. I knew I was going in there with the specific goal of coming out with an Aurora pen, so I had already decided. But I had just, I was eyeing this pen and nothing more. It was a little more reasonably priced than the other pens she showed me. But, I had the opportunity to try it out. Actually, I tried the fine nib. I liked it. So bought it, beautiful box, etc. Then I went back. It was during a cruise. So I went back on the cruise ship and sitting, having a beverage, and decided to do some journaling with this pen. And then I realized that fine nib was a little scratchy. So I had to work on it when I got back home. And, for that price, it should have been perfect. It wasn't. My fault. I should have realized when I tried writing with it at the store. But, sometimes you're so excited, anything feels great. And it's just when you're in the comfort of your own home and a little more focused that you realize, whoops, there's something wrong. So that's one of the reasons why I put it number 8. Otherwise, it would certainly have made my top 5 list. Now, this is a Penmaker. When, I was always looking at Penmaker and hesitated to buy because I felt it was just kind of a Visconti look-alike, if you will. But I went into the Penmaker shop in Florence. Everything was overpriced. So I knew I wasn't going to buy anything there, but with the express intention of at least trying out the quill nib. I tried the quill nib, fell in love with it as soon as I got back home. I went on eBay and I found this pen on sale. It was a steal. Number 7 is this Penmaker La Grande Bellezza. Named after the classic Italian film. It has an 18 karat no, excuse me, a 14 karat quill nib. And this is a medium, but that writes like a broad. But what's special about it is that flex. Very unique writing experience, like no other. It doesn't give you line variation, the flex. It just gives more ink, but it's a gusher. And that's why I'm now actively looking for either an extra fine or a fine with that quill nib. They're priced almost double than the medium or the broad. But you know what? Eventually I'll find one. Maybe not in this model, and several other models carry the quill nib. And one day I'll find one, and you'll be the first one to share it with me. So that was number 7. Number 6 on my list is this beautiful Omas Bologna, the celluloid. But what's special about this pen, it's the Calligraphia edition. And it's a special edition. Well, yeah. It has a regalia crossflex. So it's got this regalia flex nib, which is just a joy to write with. I was lucky because I think it sold out. I haven't seen it come back. But 2024 being a year where I've discovered the flex nibs, not because I'm a calligrapher, far from it, but just because I enjoy the writing experience. It was by accident. I decided to visit the Omas website, and there it was, and I snapped it up. I think it had just been put up for sale, if you will. So that's number 6. Beautiful. Bologna Omas. Okay, number 5 on my list. And you'll wonder why it's number 5, but I'll tell you in a second. This is the... So, number 5. This is the Mayora T20 or TI-22, standing for titanium, ogive, I believe. What's special about this is this nib. It's not a gold nib, but it's a number 8 sized Mayora branded with that beautiful blue ebonite feed. It's another Nino Marino special. Beautiful, beautiful pen. So it has the number 8 steel, not steel, titanium nib, which is so soft. Not flex, but soft. Excellent, excellent writing experience. It's a fine. Really, really nice pen. Now, I believe I reviewed this pen, but I don't think I've published I forget now if I've actually published the video. So I made an exception. Normally I would not have put it on my list if it hadn't been already reviewed. But because it's a Nino Marino pen, I had to put it on my list. And you'll see why in a minute, but it won't be long. Nino Marino kind of highlighted my year, right? So here we go. Number 4 on the list is this special pen. Another special pen. And speaking of Nino Marino, this is the gift that Nino Marino gave me when I visited his factory, the Delta factory in Naples. He actually picked me up at the port We spent the whole day together. We had breakfast at one of the local bars. We visited the factory, had lunch. He brought me back. He took me for a short car tour of Naples. Just a wonderful, wonderful day with him and his missus and with my wife as well. Very, very nice. And during that visit, he surprised me with this pen. So this is number 4. It is a Delta Napoli C. Now, what's special about this pen is that it's one of one. It's the only one that exists in the entire world. It's actually numbered one of one. It was made out of this resin. He had one stick left from an old stock from Delta because he purchased the inventory of Delta. And he made this one pen with it, the last pen made with this material. It's got a 18 karat original Delta nib, an old style Delta nib. That was, and it's a medium. Again, just to add to it, it was tuned by his son, who is just in the process, he may have already done it, of getting an official title as a Nibmeister. So I guess he's completing his technical training there. And this pen just is a fabulous, fabulous writer. I am so appreciative of Nino. He actually gave my wife a ballpoint pen as well. Just beautiful resin. Very, very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Nino. This will be cherished by me forever. So that takes number 4. So what's next, folks? Well, the 3 runners up. Hey, let's deal with the three winners, if you will. Okay, so number 3. Finally got my hands on this year. I tell you, 2024 is fabulous. I purchased this pen at the Novelli pen shop in Rome. I went in with the express objective of buying myself a Visconti Homo Sapiens. I knew that given all the nib difficulties that this pen has gone through, that I needed to buy one of these pens after having carefully tried it and made sure that it was finely tuned. The Novelli team welcomed me. We took some film, got some B-roll, etc. And I walked out with this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Grail pen. So that's number 3 on my list. Number 3 is the Visconti Homo Sapiens. It's got an 18 karat rose gold fine nib. It's a Visconti fine nib, so it's in-house. It is a fabulous piece, built with very unique materials, and will be cherished by me forever. And look at the patina it's kind of developed over time already, with that, beautiful clip. Just unique. So glad I took the dive, so to speak. So that's number 3 on my list. Now, between number 2 and number 1, I got to tell you, this is probably a tie. One is going to win over the other because of sentimental values, and I'm entitled to it. Why not? But I got to tell you, it was a real draw in terms of writing experience. So let's go. Number 2 is the Scribble. Now, This is a beautiful La Dotta. I bought this pen in Rome at Stilo e Stile. After having tried it, fell in love with it immediately. You know, the team at Scribo are making some wonderful, just wonderful writing instruments. This beautiful resin to top it all off, but the real gem is that flex nib, which is just fabulous. So kind of let's call it 1B more than number 2 is this Scribo La Dotta. With this, is it an 18 karat? I keep forgetting. Or is it 14? Yeah, no, it's 14. 14 karat field of flex nib, and you certainly can feel it. Just a great writing experience all around. You know, this thing, you pick it up, it writes all the time. It's in my writing vision constantly. I am so glad, you know, I kept looking at these pens and wondering whether they were worth the price. They're a little pricey, worth every penny, folks. The Scribo Flex Nib is unique, and it's a beautiful writing instrument. So that's my 1B. Now, let's get to number 1, and this is the number 1A. I don't know if I should show you the pen or a clip of my review of this pen. So I will pause because I'll decide in the editing whether I go straight to the video or whether I show you the pen. So let me just pause for editing purposes. Okay, here it is. This, folks, for me is the ultimate fountain pen. And it's certainly the ultimate Italian fountain pen. When you see a pen like this in somebody's hands, you say, oh, that's that Italian pen. It evokes Italian fountain pens. It's the symbol of Italian fountain pens that you could visualize from a distance. And Nino Marino, when I met with him, explained how he came up with this concept. He was trying, you know, everything was kind of black and gold in the 90s. And he was saying, how can I make a pen that from a distance somebody will say, ah, there's the Dolce Vita. And this is the gem that he came out with. Now, I know that there is Delta now makes the Dolce Vita, but this is the, and I think there's a big difference. Although Nino says there isn't. It's just sentimental for me. So number 1 is this Delta Dolce Vita Original. It's the oversize because it came in different sizes. It has an original 18 karat Delta nib. This is a fine. I picked this up at Patent Street Pens at a beautiful price. Terry Morris was so appreciative, and I too. It's in excellent condition. I came with the box, the ink, the paperwork, everything. Just an absolute gem. And I'd like to share with you the moment of one of my clips during the unboxing. And I think it evokes best why I think this is the 2024 Italian pen of the year. Till I see you. Let's see. And this... Okay, so this is the box. So let's just put this aside for the time being. Okay. How does it open? It opens this way. Oh my God. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Holy, holy, holy mackerel. I just wanted for you to appreciate what this pen means to me. I think it's the real thing. I really do. I'm just hoping it's in good condition. It's what I've been hunting for years. For me, it represents my heritage. It represents who I am. It represents where I was born. It represents my name, my family. It represents my origins. It represents everything for me. Okay, this is just, for me, is just not a pen. It is a masterpiece. It is something that I've got to thank you, Terry, Peyton Street. I mean, you have made this possible, and I'm hoping that it is, what I think it is. But I did want to capture on camera my emotions for my own sake, if not for viewing pleasure. So let's go back to the box, or to the pen, if you will. So there you have it. I hope you appreciated that moment. For those of you who didn't see that video, please do. You'll see tears in my eyes. Now that brings me to, we now have to decide. So number one is definitely this pen here. I mean, the heft on this thing is it's just perfect. Okay, this to me is the perfect Italian pen. Definitely. That brings me to the 2024 Fountain Pen Therapy Penmaker of the Year. Well, I think the best pen maker in Italy is Nino Marino. At least for 2024, until I meet somebody better than him. And let me just show you a clip of Nino and a few photographs that I took during my Delta factory that kind of depicts the man. And I'll come back with some final comments. Okay, so we're back. Special man, I can't say enough about how this individual kind of, I don't want to exaggerate. I mean, I've met wonderful people in my lifetime, but this man was just, in terms of my hobby, kind of carved a special place in my heart. I mean, this man owed me absolutely nothing. Okay. One day I received, after a Delta pen review, I believe, or it may even have been just he had heard of my channel. He decided to reach out, and one thing led to another. We corresponded and wrote some emails, exchanged. In fact, we actually called each other, and he invited me to his to take a tour of his factory. I mean, he owed me absolutely nothing. This man has a business to run, a very difficult business. The pen business is not. It's very niche. It's not easy to make a living. But this man is an artist. What drives him, and what drives all of us, let's face it, is not dollar signs. It's really the passion that we have for a writing instrument such as this one, And this man just, I mean, he picked me up. He took me to dinner, to breakfast, shared his life with me over, over 3 or 4 hours. Showed me his factory, every single, crook and cranny of that beautiful factory, and what he does and why he does it, and demonstrated to me, first of all, he's a marketing wizard. He explained to me, the history of Delta and how just the story of how this thing was invented is fabulous. Please take a look at my video. You'll enjoy that. He's a marketing wizard, but what makes him Penmaker of the Year is, one, his marketing skills are beyond reproach. He is a real human being. You're not dealing with this big shot who, multimillionaire who runs a pen factory just for the fun of it. He's got passion. He designs everything. He's now running Delta, Nettuno, Mayora. I'm looking forward to Nino actually getting in-house nibs going. I really am. I understand, one thing at a time. He got Delta back on its feet, Nettuno back on its feet, Mayora is there. He's got some relationship with this new pen maker, Sveva. But, I got to tell you, the human being makes him, for me anyway, the Italian pen maker of 2024. Nino, grazie molto for everything that you did for me. You made me discover a human being that is beyond reproach, and that does nothing but good things for this community, and it's well appreciated. Lots of new designs. Get those nibs going for me, please. I know you're working on a project. It'd be fabulous. And I think I wouldn't buy another pen afterwards. So, grazie molto, Nino. Thank you very much. So there you have it, folks. The Italian pen of the year, the Delta Dolce Vita Oversize Original, and my friend, the Italian pen maker of the year, Nino Marino. Grazie molto. Thank you very much. Stay tuned to my channel. We've got, lots of stuff coming up, and maybe 2 more award videos for you, or year-end videos for you after this one. I hope you're enjoying them. I know I'm having an absolute ball. And enjoy your holidays. If it's in the middle of the holidays, or before the holidays, or after the holidays, enjoy your new year, because I don't know when this particular review will go up. But whatever it is, lots of health, success, happiness for 2025. And most of all, enjoy fountain pen therapy. Grazie. Now, the next part of this video, and I thought I'd introduce it in this way, is that we went back to the office of his office after having visited the factory, and he just blew me away. He surprised both my wife and I with two just wonderful gifts. And I don't know if the video will demonstrate it, but I can assure you that I had tears in my eyes when that happened. It just, to me, it was a demonstration of generosity that was not required. I mean, I didn't know this man. He reached out. He said hello. I proposed to him, you know, an interview, and he was more than willing. He did everything in his power. I mean, for God's sakes, he picked me up, you know, in the middle of nowhere in Naples. And, you know, and the generosity of just showing me everything and explaining everything from my own video and from my own YouTube channel is enough, I think, of a gift. But to give both my wife and I what follows, to me, absolutely blew me away. Now, one thing I think I might do, and you'll bear with me, is that I might leave it all in Italian, just so that the expressions of both my wife and I are true and expressions of the moment. You know, there's not much said being there. He describes the gift that he's giving me and why, etc. And maybe we'll look at it in detail when I show you the pen or the pens. But having said that, please check this out. It's worth watching.
Settimana, da quando ho fatto I messaggi a Vincenzo. Grazie. Ci sono le tue iniziali sulla penna, così non la puoi riciclare, non la puoi dare a nessuno, non la puoi regalare.
Veramente grazie di cuore.
Grazie a te, grazie a voi per essere venuti. Ho pensato ad una ballpoint perché è più pratica per una
Sì,
signora.
infatti per mia moglie sì.
Per una signora credo.
Questa veramente l'ha preso un vero amore.
Tieni presente che tutto quello che vedi non è plastica, è resina speciale, tornita a mano da barra piena, dalle barre, dopo ci facciamo un giro, ed è veramente un lavoro straordinario. La fascia in argento massiccio 925 millesimi, placcata in oro 24 carati. E tu ce l'hai a marca Maiora, che è la mia nuova baby.
Sì.
Per storia invece Vincenzo ha preparato una cosa un po' diversa.
Questi tuoi colleghi farmacisti quando ti vedono saranno gelosi.
Mi auguro solo che tu la userai così.
Sì, come no.
E ricordati, chi ha fatto questa può farne altre, nel senso non ti preoccupare della bassa e me lo dici, te ne arriva un'altra al volo, senza problemi. Grazie. Intanto ho messo un pensiero sul certificato di garanzia internazionale dedicato a te ed è un pezzo unico, nel senso l'ho firmato ed è timbrato 1/1. Sei in crociera, vedi i mari belli, ma il mare di Napoli non te lo devi dimenticare. Io l'ho intitolata Napoli sì, 1/1. Non ho più neanche un pezzo di quel materiale, poi te lo faccio vedere, ed è una penna speciale per due motivi. Per due motivi è speciale. Prima di tutto perché è stato il primo materiale fatto da Delta insieme ad un amico bravissimo, un famosissimo architetto che è scomparso pochi giorni fa purtroppo, ha passato la miglior vita. Lui ha disegnato per Delta, nel corso di tanti anni, tutta la serie Indigenous People, era tutta disegnata da Francesco Rienzi di Milano, fraterno amico nonché grande professionista del design. Lui ha disegnato tutta l'Indigenous People. La Indigenous People che ha avuto maggiore successo in Delta è stata Kanaka Maoli, dedicata al popolo delle Hawaii, e insieme io andai con Francesco dal fornitore a Lecco, al nord Italia, per creare questo materiale. Io ho preso un pezzetto, mi ragazzi, di quel materiale e ho fatto un'iconica penna a stantuffo e ci ho montato su un pennino che non esiste più purtroppo in vendita, ma il pennino storico stampato Made Embossed Delta, punta M, in oro placcato rodio. Quindi hai una penna a stantuffo, pennino in oro, ce l'hai con finestra trasparente per il controllo del livello d'inchiostro, fascia in argento massiccio, fatta apposta per te. Fatta apposta per te, nel materiale che io adoro, anche perché è stato, ti ripeto, il materiale che ha ottenuto maggiore successo nella storia delle nostre vite. Riflette un po' le acque del mare che ci circondano. Tutto quello che ha assemblato con grande maestria è opera di Oksana, sia per la penna di Wally che per la penna tua.
Artista. Non c'è niente altro da dire, queste non sono penne. Non sono penne.
Mi piace. Questa puoi anche usare con post-it card, per cappuccio calzato.
Insieme a questa qui.
Come vuoi.
Farò un video speciale. Ti ringrazio Nino, non so come, non c'ho parole.
Grazie a voi per essere qui.
Non c'ho parole.
Grazie a voi per essere qui.